What's up everyone, MK Tom Brady here. So in this video, I want to talk about Mortal Kombat's big dilemma. And this really dawned on me while I was watching the Ermac trailer. So before I get started, I really want to start things off on a positive note. I want to give NRS their flowers here. I want to give them props on how cool Ermac looks. He looks like a very original design. I think people are going to have a lot of fun with him. It'll bring a lot of eyeballs back to the game and players back to the game for a short period of time. So I do think the game is going to get a decent spike. But, I'm watching this and I'm watching the feedback and reading the feedback. And even more excited for Ermac is that people seem to be excited for the new moves that a few of the characters had. Also, there was a push block mechanic, I believe, that was displayed in the trailer. And people are really hyped about this because you always hear the same thing, right? You hear, is this character or that cameo or this or that patch going to save the game, quote unquote, every time? And it never does. And I know a lot of people have their hopes up here, so I'm just going to lay it all out there. And hopefully this will stop the arguing between the two sides, because there are two sides here. If you are on the side, which is in the majority, who are waiting for one thing or another to save the game, let me just spare you the disappointment. And this is not going to be a negative video, because I'm sure most of you think it is going to be one, but it's not. If you are in that camp, nothing will ever save this game, because there are two sides. Those who got into MK either before the NRS era or during the beginning stages, MK9, MKX. Those players are in the majority, one, because they've had a longer period of time to build, like it's more years of MK than just MK11 to now. But also because the vast majority of the FGC also is kind of agreeing with those players. They all feel the same way in what they like in fighting games. And I know someone out there is going to say, oh, well, not true, Tom. Look at the Tekken community. They're kind of setting their game on fire. That's a subject for a different day. But the real truth is the problem really isn't even with the power that game has. The issue is that you take the power and then they amplify it by, 10 octillion, however many zeros that is, and you multiply it by that when they pop into heat. And not only that, you can't move or get away from it. So you're stuck there where characters become not superpowered, but omega, ridiculous, omega supreme superpowered. And then you're stuck there dealing with it. I think that's really the issue there. So it's not so much power, it's the degree that the power changes, and then you can't even get away from it. And that's largely based on how the game revolves around the heat mechanic. So it's not so much that the Tekken players have a problem with power. That's actually not true. But that's not even my point here. Then, there's the other side. So the other, this is in the majority, because like I said, it's, people who have played MK for long periods of time, going back to even before MK9. And like I said, the majority of the FGC is on that side as well. Like, from other fighting games or whatever, that's just, they all seem to like the same things. And then there's the other side, which is in the minority, and that's not to mean that they're a small group of players, because it's a large group, but they are just significantly smaller than the other group. And these are people who got into either MK or fighting games with MK11 or MK1, or even if it's someone who says that's not true, I dabble a little bit in MK9 and MKX, maybe so, but then it might be someone who did kind of dabble in those games but didn't start getting competitive until 11 or 1. Basically, NRS has split their community into people that kind of like the way MK was with 9 and X, and other people who are kind of a newer generation, and they really got into it in 11, and they like that. And MK is never going to be the MK that the other group who talks about, will this save the game, will that save the game? It will never be that game that you're hoping this will turn into, or the game that you remember, know, and love. And I'm in that group as well. because this game is built off of Mortal Kombat 11. And let me show you what I mean. I'm going to not only give you an example here, but then I'm going to play a real-time example in tournament, because obviously the shills will say, that's not true, Tom. So let's take Liu Kang here. He's pretty good at doing this. At this game's core, it's Mortal Kombat 11, meaning, you know, when a game's core is designed, it's like before the assists, before they super meter, whatever they're going to do, what is the game? This game is MK11, and then, okay, what are we going to do super meter wise? Are we going to do the regenerating meter or the old style meter? Okay, we'll do the old style meter. Are we going to do assists? All that was added on, and it does shake things up a bit. However, at the game's core, it is MK11. This game was built off Mortal Kombat 11. Here's what I mean. Well, I guess I'll go in more detail after this. I'm just going to show a brief example very quickly because I don't want to spend too long on this. So this game is strike, throw, poke, poke, my turn, your turn. Very much like MK11. So let's take a string right here. You see it has follow-ups, so this is something you can stagger. So forward 4, it's -3. Liu Kang's down 1 is 7 frames. That means it comes out in 10 frames. So if I do this, it's going to beat your highs, your throws, and every mid in the game except for Johnny Cage's. You need to be a 9-frame mid to beat this. A 10-frame will trade. So 99% of the mids in this game lose. So what happens here is this is called the turn stealing meta. This is MK11 101. So what happens is if you want to get your turn, you take your turn, you would have to down 1 or back this. Let's just go down 1. So this happens, you down 1. Now, if I'm mashing, you take your turn back. However, if I read that, I'm going to do this, block it, then I can punish your down 1 with my down 1, then try to jail you or stagger you with and strike throw mix you up. Or I can just straight block your down 1, then throw you, or try to stagger, more pressure, or you think I'm going to throw you and you hit buttons or whatever, and then I get to combo you. However, instead of down 1ing me to get your turn back, if you read that I'm going to try to block your down 1, you can then throw me. But I can read that and then micro duck your throw, or even your high, and punish you. You can also read that I'm going to down 1 here and backdash it, or I can read that you're going to down 1 here and backdash it. And you have this whole mind game of poke, throw, stagger, micro duck, backdash. This is Mortal Kombat 11 that I'm describing here, but this is a large part of this game. I mean, you've never, quote unquote, micro ducking has existed in every game since the beginning of time. Yet, in past MK games, you've never even heard that term used until MK11. And now, if you watch any tournament, you'll hear micro duck used 100 million times per match. Even though it was in the other ones as well, it just wasn't as prevalent because the game wasn't built off this. The truth is, Mortal Kombat right now is built off of Mortal Kombat 11. That's Mortal Kombat. And if you're MK right now is like other fighting games are situations. Mortal Kombat is built of MK11, which is my turn, your turn, turn stealing, etc. MK is like a fighting game version of a classic RPG. It's like the Baldur's Gate of fighting games. And Baldur's Gate 3 is a very good game, but my point is it's turn-based. My turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. Haha, stole my turn. The whole turn stealing meta and all that stuff. That's MK11, and that's what this game is built off of. But of course, someone will say that's not true. Lucky for me, we have here. So what do you know? Down 1, up, there we go. Poke, backdash, throw. This is the game. This is the game. This is a Pro Series tournament. And look, we got a guy using what's considered to be a quote-unquote OD team. Sub-Zero and Chameleon. So surely I shouldn't see the same poke, 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 poke with this OD team. But lo and behold, as we're going to see here, it's pretty much more the same. It's poke, poke, strike, throw, backdash. I mean, here's this OD team, quote unquote. He's got him cornered, and it's poke, 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 poke. So all I see is down ones, pokes, backdashes, and throws. This is a Pro Series tournament. These are two of the best players in the world. So this is literally Mortal Kombat 11 with cameos. And this is the core of the game. That's the core of the game. It's MK11. Now, I'm not here to say that's good, bad, or whatever. There are some people who like that. So the dilemma really is like the people that got into like MK9, MKX, etc. They're never going to be happy with any game where its core is built off of MK11. And the newer generation that NRS has kind of built up, starting from MK11, is never going to be happy with any game built off of MK9 or MKX. So it's impossible to satisfy both sides. Now, the majority of the FGC is in the camp that's not happy with the game, which is why there's so much like this game is not good, why there's so much memeing the game, because they're used to what fighting games are, situations. Not my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, stole my turn, haha, gotcha, throw, backdash, micro duck, blah, blah. That's what this game is. Like I said, it's built off MK11. It is, at its core, Mortal Kombat 11. Some people will say, no, it's a chess game and the cameos add to it. However you want to sugarcoat it, that's what it is. And I'm not here to say it's good or bad. I'm not here to demonize anyone's opinion or what they like. I personally hate the constant strike throw, my turn, your turn, tit for tat, turn stealing meta. I hate it. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. I don't want to play a game like that. And most people feel that way. But there are quite a few that like it. There's no way NRS can please both. So if you are in that camp that is kind of waiting for, is that next patch gonna return to MK to what we all hope it is? No. This game is made for people who like MK11 and then throw in the assists. That's what it is. If you found MK11 boring, more than likely you're going to find this boring. And coincidentally, a majority of the planet does find this game boring. But like I said, there are still plenty of people, while percentage-wise, there are a small percentage of people that like it, it's still thousands of people that do. Now, the game I don't think will ever be big, like other MKs, where as far as like tournament scenes, etc., as long as it's based off MK11, but it will still sell, and it will still grow, and there's just no way to please both sides. But NRS has decided they want Mortal Kombat to be MK11 and then add on to it. So I think for the foreseeable future, Mortal Kombat is going to be based off MK11. And that's just the direction NRS wants to go. And I don't know how long they're going to go that direction, but for right now, that's what they want to go. For this game to not be that, they would have to fundamentally change this game at its core, which they are not going to do. And I think we need to stop, at least people like myself, I'm going to stop comparing this game to, or, being disappointed every time something that doesn't make this game not MK11 get added. Because at the end of the day, at its core, it is MK11. It will always come down at its core to moments built from MK11, from situations built from MK11. It's made for those people. It's made for that group. And, the newer generation is just not going to like a game built off the older MKs, and those players aren't going to like a game built off MK11. That's just where we are. So from now on, I'm going to kind of critique the game based on like no longer being disappointed when, things don't change, because I fully understand they can't change but so much because of the core of the game, what it's built off of. So I'm going to stop being as disappointed when something that obviously can't happen doesn't happen. And I think the sooner everyone realizes that, and says, okay, it's never going to give me what I want. It's built off MK11. And people that like that game or came in with that game are going to like a lot of the things. And the changes will improve the game. But it's never going to be that MK game that a lot of you are hoping for. On the flip side, those people that do like the MK11 style, they're going to love this game. And the more they add to it, they're going to love it even more. I think they can make this game better. But I don't know that Mortal Kombat will ever be the game that we all love and remember it being. But hopefully in the next game I'll be wrong. But not in this game. Always interested to see your opinion. Again, for anyone that says, Tom, that's not true. I mean, don't forget. Down 1, of course. Poke, back dash throw? Yeah, not true at all. Never forget, guys. Never forget. They do play tournaments for this game. These kind of moments happen all the time. Anyway, thanks for watching. Always love hearing your opinions. Stay tuned for more content.